Michelle, she should change her name to Misery Obama. That's really what I think of when Misery Obama never has a positive word to say. Never. Not about children, not about family, certainly not about her husband. By the way, before we leave this topic, here's her latest soundbite that made the rounds. This happened on June 18th, but I was off. Here it is, SOT 39.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
What happens when a former first lady collides with a Megyn Kelly mic drop? Chaos. Michelle Obama just stepped into a verbal blender and Megyn hit puree. From fake relatability to tone-deaf speeches, Megyn peeled back that polished image. Like a cheap sticker on a dollar store lunchbox. Thought the Obamas were untouchable. Think again. This takedown is brutal, sarcastic, and impossible to ignore.
People who continue to play the victim even though they're not. Here is today's daily dose of Michelle Obama, who has been out there trying to promote her terrible podcast that has absolutely no fan following. And she decided everything she says and does is a complaint. Everything. And so she winds up talking to Tina Knowles, also better known as Beyonce's mother, about marriage and divorce, which is Michelle's favorite topic, one of them at least. Number one is how much she hates her time as first lady. She hated it. And number two, I mean, you could go either way, how racist the country is and how much she can't stand it. And then we're coming in, at least in the top three, is her negative comments about her husband.
Michelle Obama thought she could glide through the political theater, arms waving like she's directing a flash mob of swooning interns. But Megyn Kelly showed up with a flamethrower and a smirk. Suddenly, the glitz, the gaslighting, and the glamour weren't enough to keep the fantasy afloat.
Barack Michelle Obama appearance, the podcast, because everybody thinks they're getting a divorce. And let's face it, they probably are. She dragged him onto her show with brother Craig, and the following took place. Here's how it started in SOT 36.
Barack Obama, can you join us?
Michelle's brand, a luxury trio's eye above the people, photogenic, and held up by media adoration. But the second someone flips on the kitchen light and points out the rats, that illusion starts to crumble fast.
She meant what she said. Oh God, I'd have another Barack Obama on my hands, and who the hell wants that? I mean, we kind of can relate, but whatever, it's fine. It's different. We're the general public. But it was so funny. Like, I'll show the audience one other thing. Yesterday we had on Ruthless, and Josh Holmes was saying you should show some outtakes because we showed a tease. I'm like, you know what? We should show some outtakes. So they cut a couple of you and me, and we were sitting there, and just how funny it was because she's so absurd. We had no idea she was this
Megyn Kelly cut through Michelle's royalty cosplay with surgical precision, like she'd been waiting years to say, told you so. The only thing more predictable than Michelle's "I'm just like you" boot, also your queen act. The media fainting every time she breathes near a podium.
And going to therapy and just figuring out, like, what happened those 8 years we were in the White House?
What happened that 8 years?
Mm-hmm. What did that do to me internally, my soul?
No one talks about this.
No, they don't.
We made it through.
We got out alive.
I hope we made the country proud.
My girls are whole.
But what happened to me?
What happened to
Michelle struts in with her when they go low shtick, while tossing passive-aggressive shade like a wine mom snubbed by the book club. Her contradictions are so baked in, she might as well trademark hypocrisy and sell it at Whole Foods.
It's about, like, her time in the White House, Barack running. It's all negative on this new podcast. I mean, it's exactly what we thought. It's very clear she hated being first lady. She hated being in Washington. She doesn't like the fact that Barack was president. I mean, she just has nothing but negative things to say. Here's just one small, she doesn't like openly get, caustic, but she makes it pretty clear.
She parades as too dignified for politics. Yet her every move screams First Lady 2.0. The sequel nobody asked for. Megyn wasn't buying the faux humility, the Harvard halo, or those rehearsed hardships polished enough to blind a bald eagle. Tell us again about struggle while sipping organic tea in a mansion.
Woman is a one-woman destitution derby. Every time we check in on her at her podcast, she is feeling sorry for herself. She is criticizing Barack Obama or this country. She never has a positive word to say about anything. And the latest example was when she went on this other guy's podcast, Jay Shetty. She goes and sits down with him, and he asks her, what are you afraid of? And she starts off by saying, well, it's not, my fears aren't for me. You know, I think about the streets. My fears aren't for me.
Well, in this current climate for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants.
I mean, I travel in a 4-car motorcade.
And then there's the fashion tour disguised as activism. Michelle shows up to charity events dressed like she's hosting the Met Gala, preaching about being grounded, one more designer trench coat, and she's launching her own monarchy. Megyn called it out. Michelle doesn't just want the spotlight, she wants it with mood lighting, applause, and zero criticism.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
No, I would have felt for him.
She just borrowed our boys.
Yes, I got plenty.
Wow.
Catch that? She's glad she didn't have a boy because he would have been a Barack Obama. And that's a hard pass for her. This woman can't stand him. She can't.
Wait a minute. Now I like her. She prevented another Barack in the world. The Iranian regime quakes. We could have had another shot.
Cue the same performance. A few tears, a callback to her roots, and a speech about never wanting fame while gracing more magazine covers than world leaders. Her hope speeches now dripped with condescension you could spread on toast. Megyn dismantled it all, brig by designer brig.
You talk about the need to get your independence because your marriage wasn't always what it should have been.
Right.
Okay, so she's going right in, like, independence is what it's about. Of course, you had a shitty marriage. I can totally relate. And then can I just show you one more? Look at SOT 23. No. I'm sorry. It's the VO6, where the two of them get up and they start dancing. And this is part of the Michelle Obama attempted reinvention. I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. To make herself into something cool. Here she is again. Make herself into something cool, Walter, that like we can relate to. She's a cool girl because she was first lady, and that she can get up there and dance with Beyonce's mom. I'm sorry, but all I can think is you hate
her selective silence. A strategy. When pressed, Michelle pivots into vague empowerment slogans, turning critique into attacks on women. It's a shell game. Shift the narrative, label dissenters as haters, and keep the brand polished. Megyn broke that spell with a flashlight and a megaphone.
And a TED Talk.
There will be parental pain. We have to become tougher for the sake of our kids. And I just don't think that there's any way around making this easy for parents. I think that's what we...
Parenting is never easy.
It's not supposed to be. And it's not fun. Life isn't fair, and that's another lesson for kids to learn.
That's right.
It's not fun. It's painful having children. It's not fun.
And she wonders why, as she told Amy Poehler, her daughters run the other way when she opens her mouth to offer what is surely unsolicited advice.
Like, I look back on my own experience with my kids. Yeah, it's hard when they're very little. It's a lot more hard work than, now my kids are 15, 14, and almost 12. But it's still fun. They're so cute. I don't know a mother who would look back at years 1 through 13 and say, it's going to be bad, bad. Those 13 years, they're bad. The kids are a hassle. And then doubles down here saying parenting is not.
Then Megyn delivered the simplest blow-a mirror. No smear campaign, no scandal hunting, just a reality check that toppled Michelle's motivational Jenga tower. Behind the cardigans and calm smiles is a velvet pillow full of judgment served to the media as artisanal empowerment. And we're left asking, wait, did she just insult someone by calling them interesting 3 times?